Hello, dear students. My name is Bankeshwar Panigrahi, faculty, BCA department, Chikati Mahavidyalaya. In our last topic, we have discussed about the advantages and the disadvantages of a computer network. So today we are going to discuss about what is protocol and what are the types of communication protocols are there. So as I have told you in my previous sessions that what is protocol. So protocol is a set of rules and regulations followed by the both ends and by the transmission medium to exchange the information between the sender and the receiver. Okay, so here it is given. First we have to discuss about what is protocol. So protocols or network protocols are a set of rules governing exchange of information in an easy, reliable and secure way. Or in other words, we can say that a protocol is a set of rules and guidelines or regulations for communicating data. Rules are defined for each step and process during communication between two or more computers. That's why I've told you that protocol is nothing but it is a set of rules and regulations followed by both the two ends, sender and receiver, and also by the transmission medium to exchanging the information in an easy and reliable way or in a secure way. Okay, so it is all about the protocol. We have discussed about the protocol in our last sessions also. So I hope you understand that what is protocol. Now there are several types of protocols are there, such as TCP, IP, FTP, UDP, HTTP, etc. So these all protocols are used while our communication is going on. So how the protocols are used and what are the functionality of different types protocols, we have discussed one by one. So first we may go to the transmission control protocol, or in a shortcut format, a shortcut way, we call it TCP. So what is it? Transmission control protocol. So first point is given here. TCP is a connection oriented protocol and offers end-to-end packet delivery. It acts as backbone for connection it exhibits the following key features. So first a word comes here that TCP is a connection oriented protocol. So what is, so we may know about, so what is connection oriented protocol? So what is a connection oriented protocol? So it is a protocol, listen carefully, that what is connection oriented protocol? It is a protocol used to establish a data communication session in which endpoint devices use primarily protocols to establish end-to-end connections, and then subsequent data stream is delivered in sequential transfer mode. Again, what is a connection oriented protocol? It is a protocol used to establish a data communication session in which endpoint devices use primarily protocols to establish end-to-end connections, and then subsequent data stream is delivered in sequential transfer mode. So what are the two types of transfer modes are there? Sequential and parallel data transmission modes are there. So in connection oriented protocol, it delivered in sequential transfer mode. Okay. So this is all about the connection oriented protocol. Okay. So TCP is a connection oriented protocol. Okay. So what are the features for TCP? So here it is given, transmission control protocol corresponds to the transport layer of OSI model. So what is transport layer and what is OSI model? This we have discussed in our coming sessions. Okay, but for the time you have only remember that transmission control protocol corresponds to the transport layer of OSI model. So TCP is a reliable and connection oriented protocol. So as I have told you that what is connection oriented protocol, and it is reliable means it is flexible. That's why TCP is a reliable and connection oriented protocol. So it offers stream data transfer. So what do you mean by stream data transfer? That whatever may be the bits of data transferred, they first converts it into a unit that is called the data stream, and then the transfer process is going on. That is called as stream data transfer. And what is efficient flow control? Whatever the data are transferred towards the receiver end, that must be controlled by the TCP. That's why it is known as transmission control protocol. That means whatever the data are transmitted within a medium from sender to receiver, it must be controlled by this protocol that is called TCP or transmission control protocol. So full duplex operation. So here full duplex operation means, as we have discussed in our previous sessions, that what is simplex communication and what is half duplex communication and what is full duplex communication. So what is full duplex operation? The two devices can communicate with each other simultaneously. Okay, not one by one, but simultaneously. So that is called as full duplex operation. and multiplexing. Recently we have discussed also about the multiplexing. So in case of what is the process of multiplexing? Multiplexing means it receives n input signals and it outputs only one signal, only one output is there. Okay, so here some important points are given about the transmission control protocol. So TCP offers connection oriented end-to-end packet delivery. That means in case of TCP protocol, the data are delivered in the form of packet format. Okay. Next point is TCP ensures reliability by sequencing bytes with a forwarding acknowledgement number that indicates to the destination the next byte the source expect to receive. What is that? TCP ensures reliability by sequencing bytes with a forwarding acknowledgement number that indicates to the destination the next byte the source expect to receive. That means whatever may be the data sequence is given to or forwarded to the receiver end, it puts a acknowledgement number in that byte stream or sequence stream, data sequence, that indicates to the destination the next byte the source expect to receive. That means what the next byte is come from the source, it is given. Okay. So next point is it retransmits the bytes not acknowledged within specified time period. Okay, here retransmission also happening in case of transmission control protocol. Okay, so here are some services based on TCP or performed by TCP or given by TCP. So they are stream deliver service. That means the total data first converted into byte streams, then they are transferred towards the receiver end. Here it is given TCP protocol is stream oriented because it allows the sending process to send data as a stream of bytes and the receiving process to obtain data as stream of bytes. That means in sending station they are transferred the byte stream of data, and the receiving station also they are received the data in the form of byte stream. Okay. Next it is given it sending and receiving buffers. It may not be possible for sending and receiving process to produce and obtain data at the same speed. Therefore, TCP needs buffers for storage at sending and receiving ends, because whatever the message generated from the sender, they are transferred towards the receiver end, but in order of transfer rate, if receiver is not capable of receiving that much of transfer rate, then the total data what are transferred, they are stored in the buffer storage, then the receiver receives it or receives that messages. So it is given here that it may not be possible for sending and receiving process to produce and obtain data at the same speed. Okay, so therefore TCP needs buffers for storage at sending and receiving ends. Okay, next one is bytes and segments. So the transmission control protocol at a transport layer groups the bytes into a packet and this packet is called segment. Before transmission of these packets, these segments are encapsulated into an IP datagram. That means in case of transmission control protocol, it groups bytes into packets. What are the bytes? The data bytes. The data are first converted into byte streams. That byte streams are converted into a packet, and this packet is called as one segment. Each and every packet is called as a segment, and before transmission of these packets, before transmission is going on of that packets, these packets are encapsulated into an IP datagram. Encapsulated into an IP datagram. Okay. So next one is full duplex service. As I have told you that full duplex means the two sides or the two devices can communicate with each other in a simultaneous manner, or communication is going on simultaneously between the two devices. What is that? Transmitting the data in duplex mode means flow of data in both the directions at the same time. So next one is given here, reliable service. So what is reliable service? For sake of reliability, TCP uses acknowledgement mechanism. Okay, so it uses a acknowledgement mechanism that gives the two types of acknowledgements are there. One is positive and negative acknowledgement is there. So this is all about the TCP. Okay, so next protocol is internet protocol. So that is shortcutly known as IP. So TCP is a connection oriented protocol, but IP is a connectionless protocol. So what is connectionless protocol? First we have to know that what is connectionless protocol. So it is a form of data transmission in which an IT signal goes out automatically without determining whether the receiver is ready or even whether the receiver exists. Okay. Again, what is connectionless protocol? It is a form of data transfer or data transmission in which an IT signal goes out automatically without determining whether the receiver is ready or even whether a receiver exists. Okay, so this is the connectionless protocol. It ensures no guarantee of successfully transmission of data. Because why? Because connectionless means the data are transmitted automatically without determining whether the receiver is ready or even the receiver exists. So that's why there is no guarantee of successfully transmission of data. Next point given here, in order to make it reliable, it must be paired with reliable protocol such as TCP, because TCP is a reliable protocol because it uses for reliability an acknowledgement mechanism. So what are the types of acknowledgements are there? Two types of acknowledgements are there, positive and negative acknowledgement, such as TCP at the transport layer. Internet protocol transmits the data in form of a datagram as shown in the following diagram. So IP datagram we have seen in our below diagram. This is the IP datagram. This is the version, header length, type of service, and total length of 16 bits. A total length of 16 bits is again divided into two parts, flag bits and fragmentation offset. This is the identification of 16 bit. Here time to live, protocol and header checksum. Here is the source IP address, that means from where the message is came, and this is the destination IP address to where it is delivered, option plus padding. So these are the datagram structure of an IP. So it is of 32-bit length, about 32-bit length, it having a version of 4 length, header length is 8 bit, and type of service it provides, it is having 16 bit up to 16 bit, and the total length of flag and fragmentation offset, it is 32 bit. Okay. Here is the datagram structure. So the next protocol is user datagram protocol, that is shortcutly UDP. So like IP, UDP is also connectionless and unreliable protocol. That means here also it is no guarantee that is delivered data is it reached to the receiver or not. It does not require making a connection with the host to exchange data. Since UDP is unreliable protocol, there is no mechanism for ensuring that the data sent is received. Okay. But TCP is a connection oriented protocol because it is also reliable. It uses also a mechanism, reliable mechanism, that is acknowledgement. By using the acknowledgement, we have to know that so the data whatever may be sent, whether it is received or not. But in case of connectionless protocols, they are also unreliable protocols because there is no ensuring that data sent is received. So next is UDP transmits the data in form of a datagram. The UDP datagram consists of 5 parts as shown in the following diagram. So what are the 5 parts? Source port, destination port, length of the message, UDP checksums and data. Okay, so these are the 5 parts: source port, destination port, length, UDP checksum and data. So next one is UDP is used by the application that typically transmit small amount of data at one time. So where it is used by the application that typically transmit small amount of data at one time. Next one is UDP provides protocol port used, that is UDP message contains both source and destination port number, that makes it possible for UDP software at the destination to deliver the message to correct application programs. So this is all about the TCP, IP and UDP protocol, and in our next session we have to go for some other protocols. Okay, thank you.